Hello, hello, everyone. Long time no see indeed. Oh, nice to see you all again. Nice to see you all again. Hello, hello. Vesper, Harry, Grim, James, of course, and of course Fred as well. I missed you all very much. I have a lot I kind of want to talk about today, but I don't know how long we're going to go. Maybe a while. Maybe a while. Maybe not. Maybe it'll be like an hour. Whatever it is, I'll be glad to spend the time with all of you. And yes, today has a certain vibe, and that vibe is that we're gonna sit and chat, guys. We're just gonna sit. We're gonna sit and we're gonna chat. I'm going to turn my BGM so that I can hear it. Ooh, sounds good. Turn that down a bit. Oh, that's a little low now. That went shockingly low quick. That's good. Oh yeah, no, I'm not graduating or anything. Hello, Louise. Yes, nice to see you. Long time no see indeed. No, I'm not graduating. Nothing of the sort. Don't worry, to all who think I'm coming out to say that. No, I'm fine. In terms of illness, I feel as though I should speak on it. Slightly. I've been in talks with management about what to say, exactly. The essence is I'm not dying. But I almost did. Not this time. A couple years ago. Yes, a little awkward. And I'm allowed to tell this story. I don't know if I've told it before, but I feel as though there might be new people if I have told it, and context is important. A few years ago, I got very sick. Even started to turn yellow, which is, for an invisible man, it's very weird. Looking like a pair of tinted sunglasses out here, guys. But I came very close. Body parts had started to fail. It was scary. It was genuinely something that I think about to this day a lot. Because they didn't ever really figure it out. One day I just started getting better. And we still don't know why. Like at all. um. So yeah. Whenever I start to develop similar symptoms to when I did then, I tend to get very nervous very fast. Very fast. Yeah. Which means I'm back seeing doctors. I'm resting a lot, since that was a huge part of what was going wrong before. And whatever is wrong, it does make me sick often. Which isn't the most convenient. But you know, medical mystery in more ways than one, you know? So yes, I just wanted to say that. Because, you know, I do take breaks every now and then. And I wanted you all to know I promise I'm not just avoiding streaming. If I could, I would. I want to. Like, all the time. I want to. Yeah, not allowed to stream from a hospital bed. But actually, so the last time I went to the hospital, it was quite an experience. And I kind of wanted to share my hilarious misadventures with you all. Am I planning to do anything on Valentine's Day? Yes, I am. I want to do something very special for Valentine's Day. I want to give you all a very satisfying treat. But yes, so a couple years ago, I'm not going to lie, guys, it was the height of the C word, as it were. Not cancer, holy shit. You know, that thing that happened to the whole world? Do you all remember that? Like the one Kate gave me. I'll figure out something very special for you all. Maybe that's when I'll do my ASMR. But yes, it was during the height of that 19 thing. The thing that started in the year 2019 and got worse. And I started to turn yellow. I remember I went up to my roommate at the time, and like I was home alone that day. I was just chilling. And I went up to my roommate at the time. I waited for him to get home first of all. Because, you know, look at me. It's hard to tell when I'm turning yellow. Is it the air? Is the sun hitting me wrong? Who knows? And I went up to my roommate and I'm like, "Hey, am I yellow?" And he looks at me dead in my invisible eyes and says, "You are incredibly yellow. You need to go to the hospital right now." So I'm at the hospital. It's the middle of the night, but the entire place is packed. Like, because, you know, the thing that YouTube punishes me for saying for some reason. Hello, Ryok Storm. Also, thank you, Ash. And hello, Vernadera. But yes. So it was the height of that, and I'm in the hospital. And I go through the nurse, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I think I'm yellow." She looks at me and says, "No, you're not. What other symptoms do you got?" I'm like, "Well, I had this horrible fever." And she goes, "Do you have," and she takes my temperature. She's like, "Well, you don't have one now." I'm like, "I took like 8 pounds of cold medicine. It seems to have quelled the fever, broken it temporarily, but I promise you it will be back. It's been like this for days." And she's like, "Sure." And I'm like, "Well, my stomach feels ill." And she's like, okay, we'll submit you ill stomach. Writes that on the sheet. And then I moved from spot to spot throughout this hospital, layer through layer. I have never felt worse in my life. Ever. Oh, well, rest well, Harry. And then I'm basically placed in this chair, like it is a waiting room chair that they are using because they've ran out of space. And the doctor comes up, and like nurses are like trying to give me something to put my feet on and rest. And the doctor comes up and goes, "You're jaundiced. Why isn't that on your sheet?" And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. She didn't write it down. Yes, I am. I am yellow. Please help. And she's like, okay, we'll get you to a bed immediately. 2 hours later, I'm finally placed in like some children's room next to a man who, I'm not going to lie, it was so sad. He was giving his final words. It was so sad. I'm never gonna forget them. I'm not going to share them because they're obviously like a private thing, but yeah, he died. And then I passed out from the pain. And then I wake up like in a haze. I don't know when. I'm still in like my clothes. They haven't put me in a robe or anything. And I hear the nurses talking. And they're like pointing at me. They're pointing at me. And they go, "Did you read his chart?" And the other one goes, "No." Well, he has, I can't remember the name of it. It was some wild medical name. And she goes, "What's that?" And the other nurse goes, "What? You don't remember one of the tests in medical school? You don't remember this question 43 on your exam? Like I am a medical question in a textbook. That is a bad sign." It's terrifying. Yeah. And they're just trying to take care of me. I'm yellow as fuck. I'm trying to get people to like deliver my stuff. I have work that I need to do. Like the next week I started this huge contract that I needed to get stuff done in time for. So I'm trying to work in like what definitely was like a children's room at some point. The toucan they painted on the wall is another thing permanently etched in my memory. And this room was kind of nice. I got some friends to deliver me ramen. It was a delight. And like at this point they've given me enough drugs where I'm feeling like fine. I'm walking around, but I am, God, I'm still jaundiced, like to holy hell. And they're like, okay, after what must have been 12 or 16 hours, like, okay, so we don't have a room for you yet, but we're going to move you. And don't worry. And I'm like, okay, well, like a more permanent spot, you know what I mean? At this point, I've almost been in the hospital for 24 hours, or yeah, around there. And they move me to this chair, like just a chair in a hallway. And there's other people sitting there and complaining like, "Oh yeah, no, I've been here 4 hours and they still haven't admitted me. I've been here 2 hours already." And I'm like, I have been here for 24 hours. And most of it was spent in a chair. The brief hours of rest that I received were next to a dying man. So I didn't say much. I didn't have the energy at this point. And then a nurse comes up. Like, "Oh, hey, we're gonna take some blood." And I don't know, maybe this is just my hospital here, but they have, when they take blood, they have these little stickers and they print out a slip, right? And those slips are all attached, and then they take the sticker and put it to the vial of blood that they take. The slips of mine, each slip maybe about an inch tall at most. My total length of slip with all the different stickers It was dragging on the floor. It was dragging on the floor, trailing behind it for some distance. It must have been 5 or 6 feet tall. It was huge. CVS receipt of blood tests, yes. I'm glad you know what that's like. And I remember when they pulled the card in, for the most part, the room was quiet. Like, they were talking to each other, but mostly ignoring me, much to my own joy. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy to be ignored. And they drag that in, and everyone stops talking as they just pull so much blood from my body. And I was in that chair, that stupid fucking chair. It was the most uncomfortable position. There was no privacy. There was no nothing. For what must have been another 10 hours. It was insane. They said the bed was just getting cleaned all day. Like, it was waiting for me. Ugh. It's horrible. And then I remember they had an, what do you call it? The thing where they stick the needle in you and it just keeps giving you liquids into your blood. What is that called? Why is it escaping me right now? IV. Thank you, Vesper. Medical expert. And I knew it was bent. Like, I could feel it in my vein that it was bent. I'd also, become very accustomed to the IV, so I knew how long they took to drain by now. And this one was draining shockingly slow. Like, shockingly slow. It was taking forever, and I'm like, that's not normal. So I talked to the nurse, and I'm like, hey, I think my IV is bent. And she's like, oh, okay. And she leaves, and I'm like, okay. And she comes back later, a couple hours later, to administer, she looks at the bag, and she's like, oh, it's not drained completely. Must need some more time. I'm like, no, I really think the IV is bent. I feel it. And she's like, okay, well, I'll handle that later. And she leaves again. And comes back a couple hours later, and I'm like, hey, this is bent. I'm not getting what I need to live right now. And she's like, oh, it's fine, I'm sure. And leaves again. Later, she brings on another nurse because her shift is done now. Her shift is finished and she's passing me on to the next attending. And as that nurse comes in, I say to her, I look at her, I'm like, please, my IV is bent. I know it is. I can feel it. It's taking way too long to drain. Can I get a new one? And she goes, yeah, instantly. Instantly does it. Takes her no time at all. Pulls it out. It's the most bent fucking thing I've ever seen. I knew it. I was right. Vesper tagging yourself and saying same is also like the funniest possible answer, honestly. And yeah, it's bullshit. It's ridiculous. I mean, I get they're stressed and like, honestly, so much credit to them. Also, hello, Psycho. This is the most stressful time of their fucking lives. Like, utter sympathy. Utter sympathy. They were heroes, legitimately. And yeah, I didn't get the best care while I was there, but I'm grateful they were there at all. Still, to this day. Oh, I didn't grab water before this. I may have to pause for a sec to go grab water, guys. But I'll finish this story. And then I talked to this nurse and I'm like, I've been here 10 hours. Is my bed ready? And she goes, oh, I'll go check. And then I hear her talking in the next room and she's like, hey, we had a clean order on that bed. Is that getting done soon? And I hear the other nurse go, no, there was no clean order. She puts in the clean order. In an hour, I moved into a proper bed. Still not a proper bed, as I'm still in emergency. But this time, I'm in a bed instead of a chair at least. But there's still those emergency beds, and they go, look, we're gonna move you to a real room because you might be here for a minute. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we're gonna move you a couple hours, get what sleep you can. I've now been here 48 hours. Still yellow. Either way, the room I was moved to, a man was shitting himself constantly. Literally constantly. James. Yeah, no, it just wouldn't stop. Like, holy hell, he was going through it. Utter sympathy. That room smelled so bad. It smelled so bad. The chair wasn't improved. The chair was better. Everything was a downgrade of the next thing. It just got worse the deeper in I got. It was unending. So I'm trying to sleep. Like, plugging my nose. I felt so bad for him. He was so embarrassed. He sounded so nice. And like, my utter sympathy to this man, that's not an easy thing to go through. Like, holy hell. I'm so sorry for that man. He sounded so nice and so embarrassed, and he was so patient. And then the man on the other side of me was doing the same once he woke up, which was not pleasant. It was on both sides now. The nurses were very overwhelmed just taking care of that. But I'm mostly left alone in this time. They changed my IV, waking me up every, 4 hours? Yeah, it was about to change it out. I'm basically in a haze at this point. I borderline don't know where I am. Until they wake me up and wheelchair me to my proper bed. And I'm like, I'm going to get some sleep. At long last, after 2 days of being woken and moved, and it's so noisy in every different emergency room, I am being moved to a room I can sleep in. I was ecstatic. I was awake simply off of the energy of knowing I was going to sleep. I'm brought to this, I guess you call it a ward? I don't know. Is that what it's called? And the nurse, who is the first, like, this, some nurses were nice. This is the nurse who actually changed my IV, and she was an angel sent from the heavens above. She was a goddess. Wheels me in and says, hey, do we have a bed for Mr. Griffin? And they say, oh yeah, it's just getting cleaned. We've been here before. They put me into a hallway. Above my head is a speaker. Now I suffer from migraines. These lights are very bright, and the speaker is hooked directly into, and once again, my utter sympathies to what was a very senile old man who every 5 minutes would call for help, asking where he was. It was so sad. Once again, I want to say I felt awful for him, because I did. He was so confused and so scared. But it was endless. And I know they can't just turn that button off, obviously. But holy hell. It was a lot. I had the worst migraine of my life. as I laid there for 8 hours trying to eat my hospital food. At one point, a nurse comes by and says, "How long have you been here?" And I go, "Oh, it's been like 6 hours." And she goes, "Oh, well, we'll get a curtain for you so you can have like an ounce of privacy. Just a modicum of dignity as you try to sleep here." So she puts up a little curtain and gives me a space. It's not perfect, it's loud, and I can't sleep. She also got me migraine medication. But it was like a space. I could eat here. Until another nurse comes along and goes, "Hey, what's this?" and tears it down. The nice nurse comes along again and says, "Oh, I just wanted to give him a space." And she goes, "No, we can't do that. We need this hallway clear." It wasn't clear when I got there. It wasn't. It was blocked. But now they need it clear, I guess. And I'm there for 8 hours before they finally, and at long last, move me to a private room. Well, not private, I had to share it. But still. My head was blaring, and for the first time in 3 days, I got sleep. The nurse who helped me that night and finally got me in that room was an angel. She did all she could. She worked nonstop just to be nice. I wasn't asking either. Like, it was those times, you know. I'm not going to ask for shit from them. They could ask me to sleep on the floor with spikes and I would have said yes. Because fuck if I'm going to say anything. And that's not a criticism of them nor myself. That's just who I am. That's not what I would want to put someone through. Either way, they got me in there. And then in less than 24 hours, I was back to normal and everything was fine and all my symptoms completely cleared up. And to this day, they still ask me to come in for regular checkups. So that was my hospital journey. The room I got was nice too. It was a converted employee lounge. So it had a little couch that I could sit on and watch TV. It's kind of nice. I guess that's what it's like when you almost died. No, that wasn't the last few days, Vern. That was 2 years ago, and that's why I tend to take a lot of sick breaks. Just because they still have no idea. They know things in me were failing. So I tend to still get sick a lot, and they're trying to figure out why. But now is as good a time as ever for me to have a drink. I'm going to go get a water bottle, and I'll be right back. Okay, going to the loading screen. My buttons never work when I ask them to. Loading screen. I'm back. I also realized you may have not... Was my BGM audible in that time? I'm betting it wasn't. Huh. Yeah, it wouldn't be. That's awkward. My apologies. Anyways, I have water. Hi, James. Hilarious as always. God damn it. Anyways. So yes, as of now, I'm doing a lot better. As of now, I'm doing a lot better. Knocked me on my ass for a few days, but, you know, what? You gotta get back up. Get knocked down, you get up again. Ain't never gonna keep me down. That kind of thing. Yeah, so this time I went back to the hospital and I was in and out in an hour and a half of from emergency. With medication. Like, it was the opposite of my previous experience. They listened to everything I had to say. I remember this time I was lying in the hospital bed and which I got in like 30 minutes, which shocked me. And the doctor, I was like, oh yeah, I'm suffering from these symptoms, this and that. And then he was like, and I was like, oh yeah, and by the way, 2 years ago I almost died and they still don't know why. I turned yellow. And he just stopped what he was doing, turned to me and said, bro. It was the funniest fucking thing. It was just the most like serious, like, bro. But yeah, it was really funny. It was really funny. And I was out. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Went in at sometime like 4 a.m. Got out by like 6. Well, closer to 4:30. It was nice. Nice experience, really. Yes, because I said I would be going that day, but I usually put these kind of things off. I don't like going to the hospital. I don't like going to the doctor at all. You know, it's just fucking expensive. So I tend to wait until I think I'm dying, which I probably shouldn't, but I'm gonna. Not again. It was so funny, Sianna. But yeah, so this time went pretty well. I was happy this time. But other things I wanted to talk about with you all, aside from my mortality and its tenuousness, did everyone see? This is the fucking segue of the year, isn't it? Oh no. When did it come out? When did the video drop? A day ago. Okay. Did anyone see James Gunn's future plans for DC announcement? Hello, Naiad. You just missed my interesting hospital story. No, it's hype as fuck, y'all. The Elseworlds tag is really smart. I'm a huge fan of that because I don't want these interesting projects that DC does, like the Joker, to just, die. I also think it'd be absolutely ridiculous to try to tie some of them in. This allows them to keep universes like the Harley Quinn universe, the animated one, like alive and well. Hello, Highwell. Long time no see. I'm doing a lot better. Not dying this time. Thank God. Yeah, it's some of their best stuff. Like, the Peacemaker show, but I guess that's probably staying in the same universe. But previously it felt like this completely separate one-off thing. And it's brilliant. It's brilliant. If you haven't seen Peacemaker, it's so good. It's so good, y'all. Okay, so I used to have a habit of saying, what if something very bad and specific happens? And then both times something very bad and specific happens, so I stopped tempting fate. I know how that feels. I think it is possible to tempt fate in that way. But yes. Yes. All of the announcements are things I'm incredibly excited for. First of all, what to talk about first? Oh god, there was so much to it. There's a lot of things that even... I'm far more of like a DC fan than a Marvel fan personally. It's just where my interests lie. Especially with some of their new recent projects, which I've been obviously a huge fan of. Sorry, what was I saying? I'm distracting myself. Yeah, I've been a fan of a lot of the recent DC projects, just because there's a distinct artistic voice behind them, and they're expressing their artistic truth via these characters. And I think that's fucking interesting. I really think, okay, so, this is a huge segue, but I have to explain this. I think, eventually, certain characters and certain properties enter... I've talked about this before, the Shakespeare phase. When you're adapting Shakespeare, you don't simply adapt Shakespeare. You don't put on all 5 acts because A, no one would watch it. And you don't play it straight. But pretty much, not even the Globe Theatre adapts Shakespeare that way anymore. You need to put a twist on it because everyone knows Romeo and Juliet. You need a twist, such as like Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet. Super interesting. Or that weird trend of the 2000s, like She's All That, which was actually, not 12th Night. Was it 12th Night? I think it was 12th Night, actually. Yeah, She's All That was 12th Night. Was it She's All That? I think it was She's All That. The Amanda Bynes one? Yeah, either way. Yeah. Sorry. There was this weird trend in the 2000s of adapting Shakespeare plays as modern teen rom-coms. In retrospect, I want it back. It was one of the most interesting things to ever happen to film. Anyways. So yeah, you need to put a twist on it. You need to do something with it. So like, Shakespeare plays are one of the most famous pieces of media, I think, that are sort of an example of this. Another one I think is happening recently is Scooby-Doo is entering this phase. For the better and for the worse. Look, fundamentally there's nothing wrong with the idea of Velma, like putting twists on these characters, and like, there's nothing wrong with the thought behind the premise. Oh, Naiad, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that so hard because I'm very excited for James Gunn's vision. Yeah, Mystery Inc. is actually like a really solid example of like how you can put an interesting twist on these characters. And I really believe a lot of superheroes have entered into that phase of their sort of like life cycle as a piece of media. I think Batman is so fundamentally interesting and so many people are so used to the property that you can do that kind of thing. That's why we have like the one where he goes back in time and is in an anime and is a samurai. Yes. Or, you know, other ones. Or, you know, like the Batman Who Laughs and all of the insane shit they've done with Batman at this point. So I think James Gunn's vision for DC, especially with these Elseworlds ideas, is brilliant because it adds so much room for that. Honestly, I think they're milking it at this point, the Bat Who Laughs. I think it's being milked. I'm not liking this whole Bat God thing. It's adding a lot of supernatural to my Batman. I like my Batman as a detective. Yeah, Mr. Freeze is also. Sorry, but yes, I did want to say specifically, Mystery Inc. is one of the best versions of Scooby-Doo. I also hear a pup named Scooby-Doo is one of the best as well. A modern commedia dell'arte. I would absolutely agree, Naiad. Bringing up commedia dell'arte, The Professor was always my expertise. If you know what that means, you know I'm right. Yeah, actually, yeah, the only supernatural I do want is the Lazarus pits. Yeah. Yeah. What was the second Robin? Jason? Jason Todd? Yes, it was Jason Todd. Why didn't they use the Lazarus pit to bring him back? Why did Superboy have to punch through dimensions? Real question. No one will have an answer for it because it's one of the dumbest decisions DC's ever made. I don't know who the fuck wrote that. God, that's dumb. Sorry. Anyways, I'm getting distracted. The Elseworld stuff really allows these sort of modern and alternative interpretations. Okay, maybe we're talking about different runs. No, because I think it's New 52 that Jason Todd is brought back via Superboy punching through dimensions. That's not a joke. That's not a joke. Superboy, sorry. That's not a joke. Because I did just it's been a while since I've read it, but I did just watch a video on it. It does, the ending of Mystery Inc. does lead to the older Scooby-Doo, which is dark as shit and super cool. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, there has been like 8 other fucking reboots. God, they need to stop. It's hard to get invested when they keep doing it. The newest one being Watchmen Doomsday Clock, which I didn't fucking like. I just didn't like it. I refuse. Interesting. Yeah, that's a good point. One More Day. Oh, you mean like Spider-Man One More Day? Is that what you're talking about? Sorry. I am into comics, but I'm just starting to get into them, so I'm still learning so much. Oh god, we have people who are aware of Spider-Man One More Day. Yuck. We don't talk about that. It's horrible. What the fuck did they do to our boy? Yeah, no, there's a place for the supernatural in comics. Dr. Fate is one of my favorite characters of all time. I fucking love Dr. Fate. And you know, like Doctor Strange and the work Steve Ditko did. Phenomenal. Oh yeah, fucking Constantine, the Spectre. There's room for this. But you don't want it in your Spider-Man, and you don't want it in your Batman. You can have a little. It's like Batman and sci-fi. They just, certain things don't mix. Well, okay, Mr. Freeze is sci-fi, and he does mix with Batman, so you know. But yeah, there's certain parts you want to keep separate. Why am I talking about this? Oh yes, so James Gunn's vision for the new DC cinematic universe allows for this kind of creation, and I hope they don't stop making these new ones. I really hope they don't. Because it's some of their best work. That being said, guys, the artwork used to hype up when they were talking about their new Superman, Superman Legacy, which I need to watch that one. Are you talking about the Justice League Dark, the new Constantine Justice League movie? I really want to watch it. I haven't watched it yet. I want to. Oh, I'm a big DC. I like DC. I really like DC. The art they used when they were discussing was the cover of All-Star Superman. I think issue 1. I'm pretty sure issue 1. Which gives me the highest of hopes. All-Star Superman is one of the best versions of that character. He's fucking perfect. He's perfect. This is a tie back to what you were talking about before, Naiad. Superman is a good boy, and he always should be. He's not a god. He knows exactly what he is. You want to explore the consequences of those powers. Watch The Boys. Which, I know some people aren't a fan of that. That's a good point, James. You haven't read All-Star Naiad? The Bizarro arc, I'm not a fan of. I actually did reread it recently too. I'm not. It's cool. It made me cry a little bit when Zibaro came, which is a sentence which sounds insane to say, or Zibaraz, or what, I can't say his name. Some of the shit that they use for names in there, all of the pixels in the Bizarro shit gets me every time. But All-Star Superman is one of the best versions of Superman. I'm gonna spoil the first issue, just so I can talk about it. It's a run of Superman where Superman flies directly into the sun. And by doing this, supercharges his solar cells. Which amplifies his powers greatly, like far beyond what they've ever been. But it also means he now has a ticking clock, as these cells will become overcharged and kill him. And that's the premise for All-Star Superman. It's great. I loved it. It's perfect. It's perfect. I know Amity always likes to say, like, it understands. Because, like, okay, here's what makes, this is really obvious, I think, to a lot of people. But with Batman, Bruce Wayne is the costume. But with Superman, Superman is the costume. He is Clark Kent. He's not Superman, and Clark Kent is a disguise. Superman is the disguise. And if you understand that about Superman, I think you can write him. Like, fundamentally, I think if you understand that about those two characters, you've understood what makes them so interesting on such a basic level, and why they work so well together, and why they're fantastic. Because honestly, it's their contrast. Ooh, Huck. I haven't read Huck. I'm not gonna lie. So I recommended The Boys earlier. I don't recommend The Boys comic. The Boys comic fucking sucks. Yeah, the Nicolas Cage Superman. I honestly would have liked to see it too. If you're a fan of The Boys comic book, I'm sorry. It's too edgy for me. It's so fucking dark, man. Yeah, it is. It hates you. It hates you for liking comic books. It's really depressing. I don't recommend it. It's by Mark Miller? Yeah, he's super dark. Wait. What else did he write? Because I was just looking into something that he had worked on. Yeah, he did Old Man Logan. He did, right? Yeah. Yeah, he did. That would be weird for him. Huck. Okay. I'll check that out. Because I like a lot of the ideas of Old Man Logan. It's the execution that doesn't always get me. Some of it doesn't feel the most well thought out, but I think, you know, the movie adapted it so fucking well. He might just be a contrarian. Yeah, The Boys was just not fun. The show is way better. It has much more heart and much more thoughtful characters, and like it has a fucking plot, which is great. The comic was just a mess. But yeah, the show is beyond worth checking out. The actor for Homelander alone is like reason to watch. He's fascinating to watch on screen. He's phenomenal. It might be, based on what I've heard about him as a person, it might just be who he is. Like, that might not be a role he's playing. But you know what? If it is, I don't care. He's fucking killing it. Oh my god. Some of the most compelling fucking television out of that one actor. His expressions alone, like, just the littlest facial twitches, communicating so much. It's so good. Him and, oh, what's that? Carl Urban are the reason to watch that show. Like, I'm a huge Carl Urban fan. And I've gotten on a tangent once again, because another thing I'm excited about for James Gunn's vision is twofold. The next thing I want to talk about is he wants to unite the animated and the live action universes so that the actors are the same between them, which has me worried because I always prefer voice actors doing voice roles. Which has me worried, but also, like, I'm kind of hyped. And they have a couple things, like, done by the people who did Doom Patrol, which was real good. Doom Patrol was real good. Which I'm very excited for. But I do hope James Gunn is the type who likes to pick actors who may not be big yet. You know what I mean? Actors who haven't really been given the opportunity to flex and try and really show themselves. Like, what he did with John Cena in Peacemaker was art. Like, holy hell. That's one of those performances you really have to see. It's really good. I'm like, yeah, he's fun in action movies. And I really did like him in Bumblebee. For all you Transformers fans out there. The one good Transformers movie. Not counting the animated ones, of course. Oh, I forgot how good he was as himself in the Fred movie. Yeah, you know what? That was quite the performance. What was I saying? But still, uniting the universes and giving us more high-profile DC animated shows, I think is awesome. I'm so hyped for it. Because the animated stuff has always been, in my opinion, some of DC's best work. Absolutely, like, some of DC's best work. The Justice League show. Justice League Unlimited, Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series. Naturally, is some of DC's best work. I'm a huge fan. Huge fan. I'm rewatching the Batman animated and Superman animated series right now. And then I'm going to move on to Static Shock. I'm excited. But yes. So, I'm excited for all of that. And the other thing I'm really excited for, and this is pure fanboyism, I'm gonna go off about here, like, unabashed, is he wrote, I haven't watched The Brave and the Bold. It's not part of the DCAU. I'm only watching DCAU right now. But I hear Brave and the Bold is quite good. What was it? What was it? I fucking forgot. Oh yes. They are making a Blue Beetle not animated, ooh, I don't know if it's animated or live action. Either way, they're making a Blue Beetle show, y'all. Or movie. They didn't say which, but they're doing Blue Beetle. And I'm so excited. I love Blue Beetle. He's one of my favorite characters. Like, absolutely favorite characters. I think he's an absolute delight. I fucking love the character. He's great. A lot of potential there. And then the two that I'm beyond hyped for, the ones that I literally never thought were going to happen, is... I don't know which one to say first. Oh, I'm so hyped for both. One for dumb reasons and the other for legitimate ones. Either way, it's Booster Gold. We're getting a Booster Gold show. And if you know Booster Gold is a character, you should be very excited that James Gunn is helming Booster Gold. He is my favorite DC character. Yes, he does, James. Exactly, Naiad. That's why I hope they bring them together. Because I really enjoy them together. The Booster Gold episode of Justice League? Yeah, it is. It's good. I like it. He has so much room for story. So much room for development. He starts from such a low stature. He's one of the most pathetic heroes. Like, one of the worst. And he's so funny. Like he's comedy gold. And there's just so much room there. I'm very excited for Booster Gold. To have a show, like a full DC universe show. That's phenomenal. Yes, and the last one that I'm excited for, just on a me level, is they're doing Swamp Thing. Yes, Swamp Thing. I always get the names mixed up. Yes. Yes, it is. I'm like, yes, it is Swamp Thing. Yes. Yeah, I know. And he's literally said like, oh, this is going to be a weird one. This one's going to stand out. Out of the entire lineup of everything we have coming up, Swamp Thing is going to stand out entirely separate. Which he should. Because it's a fucking horror novel. And it's great. It's fucking great. I really hope they... Like, I don't know why they wouldn't choose to base it on the Alan Moore run of Swamp Thing, because, you know, it's literally one of the greatest comics ever written. They better. They better. Can't get the rights. Hey, Ruby, you know, you guys know Ruby? RWBY. Ruby got to cross over with Justice League recently. Maybe if we work hard enough, I can meet Superman one day. That upset me a little bit. As a writer, it's my dream to get my hands on, like, the DC characters. Like, obviously, I'm a fan, if I haven't made that clear, of DC's work. And, like, I would adore to be able to play with those characters. I'm jealous. I'm so fucking jealous. It's just plain up. I'm just jealous. It upset me. It upset me greatly. Yeah, I'm aware of Injustice 2. Injustice 1 as well. I'm aware of both. I don't... I haven't actually played it, though. I've weirdly enough... Yeah, Grim, I could guess you're a fan. I recognize your icon. I know what you are. I know your vibes. Yes, Injustice. That's a good. Um, I have such mixed feelings on Injustice because I think the movie was so bad. It made me mad. It just didn't understand the characters at all. And like the raw premise. I don't know. Because like the fundamental philosophy has become, at least for the Joker, I don't know when this happened in the comic book history. I actually just watched a video on the history of the character. Did they? He died! Like an idiot! The Flash that I know never would have died that dumb. That sounds interesting, Fred. I do like the dialogue in the Injustice game. I think it's quite charming and gets the characters. But like the movie just... I don't know, man. Oh, yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah. And then they turned him into Deadman, which is like... Why? Right? Like, Deadman is not... It was weird. It was weird. Yeah. I'm like 99% sure. I can't remember, at least, any run where Deadman was Dick Grayson. I'm 99% sure that doesn't happen. I'm like 99. At least I can't remember one. Yeah, and it just came out of nowhere. Like the original Deadman, not one of my favorite characters, but not bad by any means. Yeah. Yeah, it was weird. Hey, Toxic. Nice to see you. Yeah, no, I didn't like the Injustice movie. It made me mad. It didn't understand any of my boys. That's actually one thing that, like, I didn't love about Justice League, the animated of the DCAU, is Flash is kind of an idiot. Because I like my Flash smart, but I guess that was Wally West, who's a little dumber, typically, than Barry Allen was. Even though Barry Allen didn't exist in it's confusing. They really did not know how to handle the Flash family in the DCAU, I'm not going to lie. For all the pros of that universe, we could have used some time with the Flash. I don't know, I just think, you know, they still tried to kill the Flash the way they had previously done it, but then they only half did it. And I think that was weird. It was weird to me. It was weird to me. But yeah, so I'm very excited, and I actually like watched this announcement, and this announcement is part of why I was like, I'm streaming today. I need to talk about how excited I am for the plans for the DC Cinematic Universe. It's just been living in my brain, and I needed to like express it. And none of Yokast is really as invested as I am, except Amity, and she's away on haunting, so I can't even get hype with her about Booster Gold. So I wanted to share it with you all. I know you do, Sianna. But yeah, the Injustice movie, not that good. Wouldn't recommend it. What one did I watch recently? I think it was one of their dark ones, which they're doing a lot of right now. I don't know. It all feels... it was the one with not the Justice League, the Criminal Society. Oh, I can't remember what they're called. It has, what's his face? Oh God, James something playing Owlman. Yes, it's something. Oh God, what is it? Oh God, what is it? The Criminal Society. I think it's the Criminal Society. I need to look this up. I need to know. The Criminal... No, what is it? Because it's just Crime Society. Yeah, the Crime Syndicate. The Crime Syndicate. That's it. That's it. That's the one. That's the one. Yeah, it was the one with the Crime Syndicate recently. That one was okay. It's not the same without Kevin Conroy as Batman. Like, it's weird to hear all the other voice actors reprising, or at least some of the other voice actors reprising their roles. But Kevin Conroy's not there, which is weird. And I guess we're never going to get Mark Hamill as the Joker again either. It's really genuinely sad. Those two, I think, knew those characters better than anyone has ever known those characters. Borderline better than most writers knew those characters. They understood them to such an essential level, and like that understanding breathed in the media. Yes, everyone loves Spectacular Spider-Man. I haven't finished it yet. Like, I remember watching it when it was on, and it was quite good. And now people are sort of reacting like, yeah, no, it really was something special. Which is good. I'm glad to know that, you know, like a lot of these shows getting made. Like, I remember looking at Batman Brave and the Bold, and I had grown up on, you know, a different Batman. And the Brave and the Bold just... It looked weird to me. I didn't like the art style, was like a big thing. I was under the impression, based on the art style, that it was going to go to like a campier Batman, which wasn't exactly what I was excited for. I liked a lot of the edge that the animated series had. And even that, what was that, like 2004? Was it 2004? I can't remember. Was it 2004? Oh, I'm small. Yes, it was. It was the 2004 Batman. Which I don't... It's just called The Batman, I guess. Yes. I'm remembering now. Yes, The Batman. That one was fine. Yes, that's the... What is that one called? I don't remember what that one's called, but yeah, people are talking about it now, and they're like, yeah, no, we were all wrong. This show was hilarious. But I don't know if I'll ever get over the art style. Like, oh my god, guys, it's so ugly. Scooby-Doo, what is it? Scooby-Doo, it's Scooby-Doo something. No, it's good. Oh, which one do you like, Tox? The 2004 Batman? Because I do like that one too. Get a Clue, Scooby-Doo. It is Get a Clue, Scooby-Doo. I actually really want to watch it now. Cause like, oh yeah, Shaggy and no, it is not Shaggy and Scooby-Doo Get a Clue. Yeah, no, I like the Batman. I really, okay, no one talks about this, but I really liked what they did with Clayface in that one. I actually really like what they did with, it's not What's New, Scooby-Doo. No, it has an ugly art style. Scooby... Okay, let's go through these. Let's go through these. No, it's not Where Are You? This is gonna take us a moment. Oh my god. How do I find a sequel series? Oh, there's new Scooby-Doo movies. Yep, Scooby-Doo show. Yep, we're just gonna have to go through Wikipedia. Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo. Don't watch that one. The 13th Ghosts of Scooby-Doo. Vincent Price is the only good part of that. Be Cool, Scooby-Doo? Is it Be Cool, Scooby-Doo? You're right. It is Be Cool, Scooby-Doo. Yes, you're 100% right, Tox. Get a Clue does look ugly to me. Don't get me wrong. Shaggy and Scooby-Doo. That show's weird. The show's weird. I watched that show like a lot. It's weird. Shaggy and Scooby-Doo Get a Clue is fucking weird. So fucking weird show. But it is like kind of like they're trying to reimagine. Like it's a throwback, like a real throwback in that sense. Give me just a sec. Okay. I'm going to have to change something over really quick. Give me a sec just to make sure I'm safe. I'm just taking my clothes up. I just have to switch my clothes, guys. Just have to change some clothes really quick. Really quick. There we go. And oh, good. I'm back. My clothes are back on. Good. Anyways. Oh yeah, no, like Be Cool Scooby-Doo is the worst one in terms of art style. But I hear they actually like really understand the characters like quite well, and they actually like they really appreciate like the humor of the show, much more akin to a pup named Scooby-Doo than say like Mystery Incorporated. Oh, had to do a little shuffle there for you all. Yeah, that's what I hear. Writing just 100. I haven't watched it just because it's really hard for me to get over that. It looks like a fucking net parody, and art styles of shows are very important to me. Yeah, Be Cool Scooby-Doo, it looks fucking horrible. Yeah, Pup Named Scooby-Doo, underrated classic. So, you know, sometimes Scooby-Doo has these, like, underrated gems hidden in it. No, it's just, like, that's the thing, though. Like, for me, I like to judge a show as a whole. You know what I mean? Like, as an entity. The sum of its parts. And with something like Be Cool Scooby-Doo, I haven't seen it yet. The writing might just exceed all expectations. But my enjoyment's gonna be hampered. The entire artistic expression is... It includes the art style. I can't just look past it. It's hideous. It's like the worst thing I've ever seen. Sorry. I'm gonna stop. It's just so ugly. But no, I've heard good things. I don't know if anything will ever really beat Mystery Incorporated for me. Just because like Mystery Incorporated was so good. Yeah, that's what I might do. I might have to just watch clips. You know? That's funnily enough actually how I got back into American Dad recently, which I've talked about before. How American Dad is secretly one of the better adult cartoons of the modern day, and if it continues to lead in its current stylistic direction, could be one of the most interesting pieces of media released on a major network television. Just maybe. Who knows? Depends on some factors. I miss Hot Dog Water too. That was a good character. I miss Fred being a fucking weirdo, man. And that's actually like... That's a funny thought, James. That's actually one thing I wanted to talk... No, don't. I guess there's no dancing around the elephant in the room anymore, is there? We're back to Scooby-Doo. And we're talking about all the different adaptations. We might as well. Hey everyone, are you ready to jump down this well with me? So Velma is the thing that does exist. Ruh-roh Raggy. Velma exists. It's bad. It is bad. It is bad. Like, it's not good. Do I think it's as bad as everyone else on the internet does? I'm honestly not going to lie. No. It's not as bad as everyone seems to think it is. It's not the worst show ever made. I would argue there has been far worse episodes of, like, recent Rick and Morty than some of Velma. Like, I'm not going to lie. I'm never gonna get over. Yeah. See, some people say it's a self-insert show, but Mindy Kaling actually isn't involved with a lot of the writing. That's a huge misconception. They might be trying to write to Mindy what they believe to be Mindy's strengths as an actress, which I would buy. I would buy that. But yeah, she's not involved with the writing as much as people think she is. That's just a massive misconception. Even though it does hold to a lot of her trends, which is what makes it interesting. You know what I mean? Like, because she has writing trends. She does. But I think there's merit to her work. She is, after all, if Vesper's still here, a friend of one of my favorite authors, BJ Novak, and has talent. That being said, it doesn't understand the characters or what makes them interesting. And like I've seen the theory floated that like it wasn't a Scooby-Doo show and they made it one. And I would believe that. I would genuinely believe that. Because there's parts of this that are fine. It's fundamental. Like, I'm not going to like Fred sometimes makes me laugh. It does get Scoob. Scoob, yes. See, like, I think there's like potential in Fred. And that's one of the things I like about Velma is they make him fun. And like Glenn Howerton from Always Sunny fame does a genuinely decent job at the character. Like a genuinely, not at the character of Fred, but at a character written for this show who very much so isn't Fred. Yeah, because it needs some through line with the original media, and it just doesn't have that for the characters. It's like the shallowest first impression turned into something, and it's not bad at being kind of funny sometimes. Fred does make me laugh, especially with his new, like, he's on like a feminist arc, and it's genuinely really funny. Sometimes. It's genuinely really funny sometimes. Norville also isn't the worst. But once again, it is like a very shallow take on the character. He feels at least decently three-dimensional. You know what I mean? Like halfway to a character. Velma and Daphne are the parts that are really bad. Like, really bad. Daphne's pretty fucking atrocious. She barely has a character at this point. I've kept watching. Unlike every other reactionary intent content creator, I'm going to finish this. I'm going to watch it till the end, everyone. Because I have a theory. Because everyone's biggest criticism of Velma is that she sucks. And they're right. But maybe, just maybe, there's a potential here. So one of the things that they keep saying you're not wrong, James. I don't disagree. But once again, I've seen worse. I'm going to talk about worse soon. Velma is a horrible person and a fucking moron. And I absolutely hold the theory that by the end of the show, they will confirm that. Because they seem to be building up to it. Like, if I was to guess, it's going to be a massive critique of how she treats people. And the fact she's not as smart as she thinks she is. That's my guess. And it's going to be like one of the weirdest, dumbest character studies, which doesn't make it good, but it does make it interesting. And in my opinion, I'd rather have something that's bad and interesting than good and boring. every single time. Because at least I have something to say about something being bad and interesting. Good and boring, I don't even have a thought about. Yeah, that's the thing, is it's not Scooby-Doo. Like, it just isn't. There's fucking Easter eggs and shoutouts, some of which are some of the laziest shit I've ever seen. But it's just not. It's not Velma. It's just not Velma. It's not her character. It has nothing to do with her. Like, I get the sort of like bitchy, like condescending Velma was a little bit in Mystery Incorporated, but a character like that is very hard to do well, in my opinion. Like, very hard to do well. I rarely see like a condescending know-it-all done well in media. I'm trying to think where it's not incredibly off-putting. Or like, there's characters that are condescending know-it-alls, but it's a part of their character rather than the entity. The entirety. The entity? The entirety? I don't know. Either way. But pulling it off is really quite a challenge, in my opinion. Like, if that's going to be like Velma, the entirety of your character, and not a mere note that comes up when it's convenient, I think it can be the main course. But, like, people, I guess, like Rick, who is a condescending know-it-all. People like Rick. So, points. Points, I guess. Speaking of Rick, look, I'll come for Velma and I'll talk down on it. But one of the worst pieces of media I've seen in recent memory was a new Rick and Morty episode that is going to sit in my brain rent-free for the rest of my fucking life. Yeah, you make a good point, James. The wrong people do like Rick. What was it called? What was it called? What was it called? Oh my god. Something. It's the fucking meta episode. Made my skin crawl. What was it? Full meta Jack Rick. Full meta Jack Rick. No, the Jesus one. I fucking hated it. Absolutely despised it. I know a lot of people liked it. I know a lot of people I fucking hated it. I couldn't stand it. It upset me how much I hated it. I don't know, like, it's still living in there, Amity. I've been talking about it for a month. I watched it when it came out and I can't get it out of my brain. I'm really sorry if you enjoy it. And it at least has that thing you're hoping with Velma, where the show also hated it, but it didn't make it better. That was part of it. Like, the show hated itself. The show hated itself in that episode. And yes, Toxic, I should talk about Scooby-Doo Post-Apocalypse, because it did work, mostly. I think it went a little off rails, but, like, honestly, major points for the fucking experiment. But yes. No, and, like, the comments, like, people being like, this is like, oh, you have to be, like, a fucking English major, you have to have a doctorate in English to understand this. It was self-serving. If you know anything about writing, it's the equivalent of, like, it's reference humor, and it's jargon-based reference humor, which nothing upsets me more than reference humor that's only meant to be got by like 5 people. Like, if you want to make your joke subtle and interesting, there are ways to do that. The Venture Bros does that. It makes its jokes where, like, there are people who, there's only like 8 people watching the Venture Bros who get the parody that they are making. You know what I mean? But it's like, oh yeah, these are very, very specific terms to either, And honestly, I wouldn't even call them that specific anymore. Enough people have watched video essays now, where you know a lot of the terms that they're making jokes about. It's still meant to appeal to a larger audience, but it's made to trick you into thinking you're smarter than you are by understanding what's going on. So, it pissed me off something fierce. It is still in the works. It is still in the works. It is. I've heard news. They've said it is. They've said it is. They wouldn't cancel it now. Yes, it is Big Bang Theory humor. Yes, that is exactly it, James. It is Big Bang Theory humor for anyone who's watched a video essay on writing. If I've hurt your feelings, I apologize. This is who I am. Can't help it. I really don't like to talk about this stuff on stream, but also I need to. It's in my body and it needs to escape like bile. But yes, it is that. It is like Big Bang reference humor for like anyone who's watched a video on writing on the internet. Oh, it pissed me off. It was not. It hated itself. It barely had a plot. Yeah. Oh, I needed to let that out. I feel like a weight off my shoulders. Thank you for listening to me rant. Thank you. Now we can talk about something I hope you'll really like. Venture Bros. If you haven't already, watch Venture Bros. It is the best adult animated show. Period. Like, I really don't think there's too much of a conversation. There's 3 shows in the running for the greatest adult animated show of all time, and it is. Wait, before I go on to this, Scooby-Doo Apocalypse. I actually have read it. I read it a couple years ago, and I liked it. It did some weird things, but I think a lot of its motivations mostly made sense. Its premise is inherently interesting, in my opinion. It's weird that it both exists in the Scooby universe and like is almost like an alternate take. Right, Nayad? Okay. That being said, Scrappy was really good in it, which I never thought I'd say. I really never thought I would say like I enjoyed Scrappy-Doo, but I did. He was really good, like really good. He did. Yeah, he was an interesting character. It was weird. Yeah, I liked it. I liked it quite a bit. I liked like the mafiosa stuff. That was the one thing I didn't love about Mystery Incorporated, was like how much hate they had for Scrappy. Like, I get it. But like hating him is a meme at this point. Let's move on. The character isn't inherently bad. He's had his moments. But yes, Naiad. Venture Bros is phenomenal, and you never expect it to be as good as it is. There are, in my opinion, 3 shows in the running for like the greatest animated show of all time. I'm glad Toxic, because he gets way too much hate. I like Scrappy too. That's the one thing also I don't like about the Scooby-Doo live action movie, is just how much it hates Scrappy too. Back to James Gunn. But yes. So yes. Adult though, not including children's shows, which Over the Garden Wall, although it is... Ooh, you're close, Sianna. You're very close. You're very close with that. But I would... You guys might not agree with me on this one. I would sub out Futurama for Midnight Gospel. Yes. Yes, I would. Yeah, pretty unquestionably I would. I like Futurama. I do. I love it. I've been a Futurama fan since it was coming out. I remember when it got canceled. It ripped my heart out. I bought the movies on DVD. But fucking Midnight Gospel, man. If you haven't seen it, holy fuck. That's the thing. I think Midnight Gospel isn't as well known. But holy shit, is it good? Can a whole show get god tier status? I wouldn't say entirely based on one episode, but mostly based on one episode. Yeah, it can. Because that episode is one of the best pieces of media ever made. Sincerely, wholeheartedly. What is it, episode 8? Well, the 7 C's are always have access to you, Toxic. Midnight Gospel, though, is a Netflix original, so if you do have Netflix where you are, you can watch it, because it's their show. They can do whatever they want with it. I'm going to make sure I know what episode I'm talking about, because anyone in the audience who knows Midnight Gospel will know what episode I'm talking about. Oh, it so is. So is episode 8. Sianna, I'll fucking join in for that. The story to Midnight Gospel is strange. But yeah, watch it. Watch it. Watch it. Because, well, no, wait for us to watch it together, because it's 8 episodes, so we could watch it in a stream. They're only like 20 minutes each, I do believe. Let me check. I'm genuinely curious now. Yeah, I'm super down, Sianna. I haven't made my schedule this week. I was waiting until I was very sure I wasn't dying. Let's fucking do this shit. I've watched Severance, James. Oh, we can talk about that in just a sec. Okay, yeah, it's like the last episode is 36 minutes, but every other episode is like 25 minutes. Like 22 minutes. It probably actually, because they range, probably averages to 25 overall. So what? That's like what? 200 minutes? Right? About? I think so. Yeah, 200 minutes, 3 hours. Who's down? From beginning to end. We could split it into 2 streams, but that feels useless. Yeah, you guys want to cozy up with a bucket of popcorn and join me for one of the best pieces of adult animated media ever made? Do you want to watch me cry? Because I will. Yes, Midnight Gospel, phenomenal. Like, literally phenomenal. The last episode in particular, episode 8. I've never been affected by a piece of media the way that one affected me. Nothing has come close. And this isn't an insult, because BoJack hit way too close to home. BoJack hurt, like, a lot. That's the other one. BoJack Horseman, which is a pretty easy answer. BoJack Horseman is another one of those shows that BoJack Horseman feels once in a lifetime. It's amazing it was able to finish, considering it's fun. It's a Netflix original. Like, holy fuck, I'm amazed it went on as long as it did. Let's count our lucky stars, eh? Because holy hell, BoJack was something special. I know a lot of people dropped it in season 2, and I understand why to some degree. I think season 2 confused itself before it really found its footing again. But yeah, and Tuca and Birdie was good. I don't know why it got canceled, but it's brought back at Adult Swim now, so that's good news. Speaking of, I guess there is competition for the to the 3 best animated shows of all time. We'll talk about you in a second. Another one of my favorites. BoJack Horseman, though, without spoiling, like, has anyone here seen it? Has anyone here actually watched BoJack? I know the fandom on the internet's like insane, like they're crazy people. But that doesn't mean it's not worth watching. I swear to God, it doesn't mean it's not worth watching. Because, like, fundamentally, it's... Really? It's one of those shows I assumed everyone had seen. It's a hard one to get into just because, like, the first couple episodes aren't what the rest of the show really is. And now I think it's kind of, in my opinion, like, the clipping of it is taking some of, like, the best moments, which are perfectly built to, and ruining them. Like, the long way down speech. Yeah. Or free corn dog. Free churro. It's free churro. It's free churro. There's one episode that is just a monologue. Like it's just one monologue. And that's a show that I actually can look around the art style for. Because, like, the writing, not just in animation, but in all of media, I think it has some of the best writing in all of television. Up there with True Detective Season 1, in my opinion. And like Breaking Bad and The Sopranos and Better Call Saul, which I need to watch. But yeah, it just has some of the best character writing, I think, in television, period. Like, it is phenomenal stuff. If it wasn't, you know, like 5 seasons long or something, I'd watch that with you too. But if you have the time, yeah, Will Arnett is like BoJack, and he's really good. He's really good, like really good in it. He delivers the performance of a career. Like, it's really hard to encompass the beauty, the serenity, the peace, and the understanding that BoJack has. See, I need to watch Firefly. Itzy's a huge fan of it. And she's been trying to make us watch it, but I haven't watched it yet. Yeah, I will say, like, modern day Marvel has actually heard a lot of Joss Whedon's old stuff. Whedon's old stuff. Just because it's very much built off his style, which does get old. Any style does with time. But yeah. BoJack is something. Midnight Gospel has, in my opinion, one episode that is one of the best pieces of television ever made. But as a whole, as an entire piece, there are few shows that reach the heights and keep a consistent level of quality that BoJack has. Period, in my opinion. Yes, I love the Seinfeld effect. I find it fascinating to talk about, James. Seinfeld isn't funny anymore. No, Seinfeld isn't funny is the name of the effect that you're talking about, James. And I know that effect, and I think it's so interesting to, like, dissect its effects. But I do want to go back and watch Firefly. Yes, because I do love Nathan Fillion. But yeah, BoJack. Watch BoJack. Sincerely, even if you don't think it's for you. Like I understand that feeling. And like, work through it. Like, sincerely. Season 2 drops off. Season 3 doesn't. It just doesn't. And season 4 and 5, and God, how many seasons does BoJack have? When it ended, I felt things I've never felt before. It is, sincerely, there's no other show like it. It's so good. And yeah, like, yeah, six. Its last season being probably its best. And yeah, no, I don't think there's any character writing that gets to the level of BoJack. maybe Venture Bros, but it's a different conversation between those two shows, in my opinion. Yes, okay. So it's a different conversation in terms of character writing between Venture Bros and BoJack Horseman, because BoJack Horseman is very much a realist show. Like it is very, sounds weird to say, but it is very much set in our world. Weirdly enough. It is very realistic. Whereas Venture Bros is so fantastical. And the thing that makes Venture Bros character writing fascinating to watch is that its fantastical world and its character writing never feel desynchronous. Desynchronous, is that? That's not a word. They never feel discordant against each other. They always feel harmonious. Actually using the strengths of the fantastical to build the characters. And it's really hard to do that. It's really hard to do that well. Especially with such a large and varied cast. Like, even on a raw writing, like you are making a novel, that is a feat. And they do it masterfully. Like, masterfully. Doc Hammer and Jackson Public are brilliant writers. Just brilliant writers. That combined with the fact that they have an eye, and I wouldn't say they have an ear for, they have an eye for plot and an ear for dialogue. They can see far down the road, know exactly where they're going and what they're building to, and their ear for dialogue is perfect. There's this saying that good character design, if you turn it into a silhouette, you can still know what character that is. And it's true. A good character design has a good silhouette. And I think a similar thing can be said about character writing, where if you were to take away the names and the voices and the actors, and you handed someone a sheet of dialogue, you'd know what character that is. So, and I think Venture Bros achieves that, which is hard and good. And I guess the fourth show, which is rather new, so it feels weird to put it in the running already, but it really did come out running, was Smiling Friends, which is exemplary, which is phenomenally hilarious, which I'm sorry, might be the funniest show I've ever seen. It might be. It's fucking up there. I will rewatch that show 8,000 times because it is so funny. It is so funny. Yeah, actually, I think a lot of people heard about Venture Bros through the night at the what is it called? Yeah, the poker game. Yeah, the poker night. Yeah, I know it also has like GLaDOS in it. It's very fun. Yeah. Either way. Yeah, Smiling Friends, which is, yeah, poker night at the inventory. That's what it's called. Yes. I figured it out. But Fred, what you said did give me the clue that I needed. Oh, that's so sad. They were so fun. There's probably a way to get your hands on them. Anyways, Smiling Friends, if you haven't watched it, is by Zach Hadel of Psychic Pebbles. Damn. Well, to be fair, I haven't know. I didn't know they hated each other now. That's too bad. Those are two companies you'd think would work well together, but I guess Valve is doing its own thing now. It's kind of going down an interesting route. But either way, Smiling Friends. How to say this? I'm gonna cough. That's actually part of why Venture Bros keeps coming up in conversation now, is that it does have a Scooby-Doo parody, and it works far better than Velma. In one episode, it has a Scooby parody. Really? Well, Adult Swim has had quite the shift lately. I hope it handles itself well, because it's been one of my favorite networks for a long time. There's no feeling in the world quite like leaving Adult Swim on and waking up at like 2 a.m. to the weirdest fucking thing you've ever seen, and you wonder if you're in a dream. It also gave Alan Resnick work, who I'm a huge fan of, with unedited footage of a bear, one of the greatest infomercials of all time. And he also did Alan Tutorial, which is one of the best YouTube series of all time. But either way, speaking of YouTubers becoming, yeah, see, like, that's magic. If we lose Adult Swim, we lose that magic, James. But yes, anyways. Smiling Friends is brilliant because, like, it does things I've never seen an animated comedy do before. And that's actually take advantage of animation as a medium to highlight the strength of the joke. When Charlie, in the episode where he goes to hell, punches the weird little stick thing, and for some reason, the thing is now animated on ones. It shook me to my core. I laughed so hard. It's the funniest thing you'll ever see. Because previously that thing is animated on like threes. I swear. Yeah, probably. Or at least very fast twos. So to slow it down and bring it to ones is like the funniest fucking thing. It just used animation in such creative and innovative, not innovative, because these techniques exist and they've been used in media before, but holy fuck did it use it right. It's way funnier than, and this is what I mean, like, if you want to do like reference humor like this, this is a good example, because you don't need to know about animation to find that scene funny, but if you know anything about animation, that scene is the funniest thing you will ever see. God, yeah, we should watch it. You guys want to watch more movies, more TV shows? Because Smiling Friends is so good. If you can find a way to watch it, I know it's like, Adult Swim is so weird to get on anything, I think. Depending on where you are in the world. They have weird licensing. Watch Smiling Friends. I have it all downloaded because I paid for it, obviously. No, wait, that didn't work. That one did. Because I obviously paid for it. Oh, well, enjoy your nommy nom noms. I think Itsi is gonna start in just a half hour, so I won't go on for too much longer. But I'm glad to have you all here for this. I'm having a blast. I promised you all a talk stream, so I'm delivering. But yes, Smiling Friends uses animation to make its jokes funnier. That, and it's just the funniest thing I've ever seen. It's just ridiculously funny. Like, there's this, I'm gonna spoil one joke. No, I can't. I'm gonna spoil one joke. One joke. Travis is right, Talks. I think again. Was it Bluey Travis was also right about? I don't know. There was something else, Travis. Oh no, it was Puss in Boots. Travis was right about Puss in Boots, and he's right about Smiling Friends. Listen to Travis. Me and Travis might get along. We might have a lot in common. Let's talk about animation together sometimes, buddy. Sometime, buddy. Sometime friend, sometime pal. But yes. There's this one joke where, like, there's this sad little shrimp man, and everything about him is hilarious. And he's sad because his girlfriend broke up with him. So one of the characters is like, oh, I'll go try to talk to the girlfriend and see if she'll take him back. and her name is Shrimpina. And he goes on the address. He goes to the address that he was given, and he walks in and sees this lovely human woman. And he walks up and introduces himself. Slowly throughout the episode, he starts to fall in love with this woman and develop this real connection, all while knowing this is Shrimp's girlfriend. And then at the end of the episode, he finally decides to do the right thing. And he brings this girl to the shrimp. And the shrimp doesn't know who this is. He went to the wrong address. They immediately get along incredibly well, and she ditches the main character to be with this sad little shrimp man, and they go off. And then the other main character turns to him. He's lost this girl that he had legitimate feelings for. And he turns to him. And he looks at him, he says, Pim, her name was Shrimpina. She'd be a shrimp. And I lost my shit. I'm losing my shit now thinking about it. It's the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen. You really need to watch it. Like, it's something that's... I don't even know if I'm selling it well right now. I don't think I am, because I don't think you can. The comedic timing, the animation, all of it comes to create a product that is greater than the sum of its parts. It's so good. Literally so good. Oh, I might have DVR on, which can cause that effect. Can I turn it off? I can! Yeah, I keep forgetting to turn off DVR. Hopefully I'm turning it off now. Oh, really? Well, it's kind of like a management thing that we have to turn it off just because, like, we can really fuck up, and if you guys can rewind, then that could really, really hurt us in the long run. So we're supposed to turn it off, sadly. It's just the rules. That, and it does lead to that where, like, someone is delayed in chat, and, you know, they're on a different conversation. It happens. But yeah, I do understand the like for DVR, because you can go back and watch earlier parts of the stream, or even like turn it up speed wise. That being said, I do like having you guys talking to me, and you can't do that if you're doing that. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair, James. Unlike Twitch, which yes, your clips live on in infamy. Yes, watch Smiling Friends. I'm not selling it well enough. It's made by Psychic Pebbles, who is a very funny dude on YouTube, and now has a show that's really good. It's really good. But yeah, to speak on, I guess the other show that's always in the conversation when talking about the greatest animated shows of all time, would be Futurama. Obviously, Futurama is one of the greatest animated shows of all time. A near perfect cast. Matt Groening at some of his best, with a fundamentally interesting premise. And if it had ended after its first 4-season run, I think you'd be right. I think it would. Well, no, it's not beating BoJack. It's also not beating Venture Bros. I'd still let it enter the conversation a little bit more than I'm giving it credit for now. But the fact is, I think the later seasons, even though they had their moments, and like there was, like the last episode with Fry and Leela traveling through time was beautiful. If you want to do it all over again, well, it's beautiful. 10 out of 10. But it's not as tight as that first 4 seasons. The movies are kind of super fucking messy, in my opinion. Like Wild Green Yonder is not that good. I'm not going to lie. It's not. It's kind of disappointing in comparison to what everything else the show had done. And Rebirth, Indagata de Lila, the Natural History episode, all of those just didn't hit as hard as some of the best of the early stuff. King of the Hill does deserve more credit, and I'm very glad it's coming back. because of that, because I think it's a great show. It has a lot of heart. It also, I think, has a lot, like, that's the thing. Like, when you're judging a show, do you judge it based on its highs or on its average? And then the conversation becomes a lot more interesting, I think. Because, like, if we're judging a show based on its highs, it's really hard to top the first 8 seasons of The Simpsons, in my opinion. To this day, I see few shows achieve what those first seasons did. Not counting season 1, which isn't quite as good. It's not bad. But seasons like 2 to 8 of The Simpsons, in terms of, oh god, it's so good. I rewatch it like once a year. It's so funny. And it has so much heart. And it's beautiful. Just definitely is beautiful. A fucking Bart stealing the video game episode will make me cry to this day. It's good. The one where he loses his soul is like interesting on an existential level. And also the goggles, they do nothing, is one of the funniest lines in, you know, the history of television. You have what you will. But yeah, there's so much there that I think, like, that's where but then if you include The Simpsons as a whole, it feels weird to say that it's one of the greatest animated shows of all time. Because, like, well, I hear it's getting better. The Simpsons. We talked about it a lot, but right now we're discussing whether or not you should judge the quality of a show based on its highs or on what I would call the average. Because, like, if we're judging based on the highs, then like I said, the first 8 seasons of The Simpsons are some of the most clever and well-written television, in my opinion. And, like, it feels rude to, like, take that, what is defined art, but is brilliant writing, some of the best television writing in terms of comedy. And comedy is harder to do than drama. That's just a fact. I'm like, as someone who does write, comedy is way harder to do than drama. It's true in all regards, by the way. It's true in all regards. Comedy is harder to act, it is harder to write, and it is harder to direct than any drama. It just is. Which is why when I see comedy, like well done comedy, I always give it like 8,000 bonus points. Because drama is easy. Pulling heartstrings is easy. It's so easy it feels like cheating sometimes. Do you know how easy it is to put a sad kid in something? Like, just write a piece of media and stick in a sad kid. It's having that mean something that makes that hard. Okay, anyways. There's just certain things in drama you can do. Like, people always say, like, oh, like, I feel like a lot of people get the impression that comedy's easier because, like, in comedy, you know, you could do, like, fart jokes and whatnot, but that's not really a thing as much now. But I think, like, in the 2000s, it got that reputation for the fact that there are easy ways to make people laugh. Someone falling down will make me laugh every time. Every time. It's just funny. It's just inherently funny. It's why the internet exists, for clips of children falling over. It's funny. Every time. But the same is true of drama. And there are certain beats you can hit that, like, will always be sad and are just easily, like, they are shockingly easy to write, to the point. Anime is such a different conversation. To the point where it when you write them, it feels like cheating. Even if it is exactly what the story needs. Doing them feels wrong. For certain audiences, having a parent, like, just sit down with their kid and tell them they love them will break them every time. And every time I put that in any piece of media I'm working on, it feels like cheating. Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. Someone did a video essay on why Lost didn't work. like even theoretically. And yeah, you can be off the mark. That being said, I think it's easier to be off. I think it's easier to be off the mark in terms of comedy not hitting than it is in terms of drama not hitting. People just have things they care about. Holy fuck, I forgot to talk about Severance. Severance is good. I really like Severance. Severance is really good. I wish I could show it to more people, but I don't have Apple TV. I will not say how I watched the show. The slap. What's the slap? Are you talking about like the Will Smith thing? Oh, no, it's a show. Oh, I have no idea what this is. Never even heard of it. But yeah, so like in my opinion, I think like it is much harder to do comedy well than it is to do drama well. Drama has like so many shortcuts. Oh. See, that's the thing. That's what always shocks me is like, I think some of these things are so easy to do, yet we still have writers who manage to fuck it up. It shakes me to my core every time. Shakes me to my very core every time. That's the thing about Velma. It manages to do the drama just horribly. Because it does have drama in it. It does. It's badly done. It's horribly done. They undercut themselves. They don't understand the emotional weight of what they're dealing with. As long as you have an understanding, and I think like a soul, drama is easy to write. Because you just have to be able to feel what you're working on. Fundamentally, you just have to put yourself in the shoes of the audience and pull yourself away from your own perceptions of your work and just emote. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, fucking that just happened. Good drama, I think, like, is hard to do. Then again, I would say, like, better comedy is hard to do. I don't know. It's always this arms race, but that's true of like every genre. Like, I think horror gets a bad rap, but good horror, I think, is incredibly hard to do. You know what I mean? Like, fantastically well-written horror is a nightmare to write. Hey, pretty funny. Come on, points for that, guys. Yeah, fantastically well-written horror is a nightmare. It's incredibly challenging to write. But you know, like maybe the message is like good material is hard to write in any genre. I don't know. I just think the floor for what counts as good is so much easier to hit for drama than it is for comedy or for even for horror. Just because, like, yeah, I guess in the short form. Now I'm thinking, because short form is an entirely different ballgame. Like the idea of episodic versus serialized in terms of these genres. It's like long form drama is hard to write. Like, major credit to anyone writing a long form drama series. Something more self-contained, I think, is easier. A novel with a singular arc is easier. The issue comes when you have to deal with like long form and like multiple character arcs within the same piece. That is a complicated dramatic piece to write. And that's something BoJack does incredibly well. Because yeah, that's a good way to explain it. Whereas like, but then again, has anyone ever seen a good long Arrested Development is a good long form comedy, and it's brilliant. It's fucking most clever writing on television. Anyways, sorry. Got real caught up in that mentally. I was going down a little spiral, which I often will whenever I get onto a thought that I'm like, wait, no, there's more to this. There's more than I'm giving credit for. And then I'll just start to spiral and be like, no, wait, consider that. Consider that. Oh, don't forget about that. And I can't get completely caught up in those because I will go dead silent. I've been talking, me and Amity talk about media a lot, as do me and Sianna, and I've been talking to either one of them, and I've just been like, well, you know, of course you can't discount, and then I'll go dead silent as I like, oh, there's a lot to think about here. And then I'll say something, and I'll be like, no, wait. No, I was right. That's correct. That's a correct statement. But yes. Okay. Anime. That's the thing. I think anime is not a genre. Anime has genres. So I feel weird because it is adult animation. I'll take that as a compliment. Those comic book guys know how to talk. Anime is adult animation. Well, you can pick my brain right here. We're talking. Anime is adult animation a lot of the time. But it does have such a defined feel, and like the themes and content that it explores, I think, is so fundamentally different that it's hard to count it in the same conversation. You know what I mean? So like, and it's hard to even compare anime to itself a lot of the time. I think it's true. Okay. I actually see where you're coming from there with like Ghost in the Shell. But even then, I don't know. Because when you get into that kind of genre of anime, the really, really heady stuff that is still so fundamentally different than what we've seen in Western animation. Like, I think there is groundwork. Like, yes, Ghost in the Shell laid groundwork. The works of Satoshi Kon laid groundwork for a lot of Western media, but I don't think it laid groundwork for Western animation. I would argue it laid groundwork for the works of Christopher Nolan. I would argue that it laid groundwork for Blade Runner, and a lot of live action media, which I think they would be much more comfortable in terms of being in the conversation with than, say, Family Guy. You know what I mean? Sorry. Kind of went off there. Because they do feel so much like their own thing. Like, it would feel just as wrong to compare Akira to fucking God. What seasonal Drek can I pull out of my brain? The legendary hero reborn as a paper towel dispenser. Than it would be to compare Akira to, say, fucking God, BoJack Horseman. See, that is the thing, is they fundamentally grew from different flowers. Western and Eastern animation. They were born from the same... It is really like if you took the same flower, and grew it in two entirely different climates. To watch how differently things would turn out, because they have two entirely different evolutions, even though they have a lot of the same initial roots. The issue is that Western animation never had the shot, and only now is beginning to experiment with adult themes. Largely thanks to The Simpsons. That is why I think it's hard to compare them. It's hard to compare Western adult animation from Eastern adult animation, even if it is the best of either crop. Even if it is definedly adult animation on both sides, they are different plants. They are different beasts entirely. The themes that they explore are so much tied to their cultural staples. It's like I recently read this absolutely brilliant African fantasy novel, and it's beautiful. I could not begin to compare it to the works of Tolkien. Not if I tried. Are they both fantasy? Yes. They're entirely different genres. It's a good book. If I could remember its name, I'd recommend it to you. Yeah, see, that's also the thing. That's actually the one area that I think they do become comparable, is when you get into like the art house sphere. Because art house, like the works of oh god, what is it called? What is it called? I know Masaki, a lot of my favorite Masaki Yuasa pieces come from this thing. Oh, what is it called? Oh, it's gonna tear my mind apart. Either way. But see, like, I would really recommend for you, James. I would give BoJack another try because it does get there eventually, and I would give, what do you call it? Another Midnight Gospel a try because they do, I think, have themes that would appeal to you based on what we've talked about today. Yes. But yeah, funnily enough, in terms of art house animation, Western and Eastern have more in common than ever. Like, that is actually, like, it kind of reminded me of that. And if you are in the mood for something really weird in Western animation, I really recommend Anomalisa, which is really, really quite something special. It has the best sex scene ever put to film. This isn't it's not sexy, it's just really good. Yeah, it's good. It's not sexy. It's emotional. Really, you could write an essay on the case that it makes for the purpose of the sex scene in film, in my opinion. Anomalisa is really good about that. Oh, hello, Galaxy. Yes, it is a Kaufman piece. Oh, speaking of stop motion, to ride this tangent like the wave that I want to, my favorite stop motion movie of all time is almost definitely Kubo and the Tale of Two Strings. Brilliant movie. Absolutely brilliant. Love it. I know it has flaws. I don't care. It's perfect. It has flaws? Yeah. It's too perfect. Yeah, stop motion has been fascinating recently, specifically because Studio Laika is a fascinating studio, who has, like, this deep artistic goal that they're exploring. Also, that studio that did Wolfwalkers is also super interesting lately. Fun fact about Kubo! Oh, it's fine, Galaxy. Happy to have you back. Fun fact about Kubo and the Tale of Two Strings. The director went on to make a live-action movie. One that a lot of people underrate. Mr. Travis Knight, director of Kubo and the Tale of Two Strings, went on to direct Bumblebee, the Transformers movie, which is super fucking underrated. If you haven't seen it. Watch Bumblebee. I don't know if it's available on anything right now. You should watch Bumblebee. It's really good. I just showed Amity it for the first time the other day. And, okay. Is it the Iron Giant? Yeah, yes, it's the Iron Giant. It is. It is. It's a modern adaptation of the Iron Giant with Transformers. Who doesn't want that? And John Cena's amazing in it. We're back here. Yeah, Fred, I can always pull it full circle. It always will come full circle. We're back to Bumblebee, as always. Yeah, Iron Giant is good. Iron Giant is good. It's a good movie. Probably Brad Bird's best. Like, undoubtedly. Undoubtedly Brad Bird's best. Superman. I fucking ball, man, every single time. Oh my god. Superman. Every time. Okay, anyone who calls that the best Superman movie is wrong, though. Because Iron Giant isn't about Superman. People have been saying that lately. I've actually heard that like a few times. Is that people calling Iron Giant a Superman movie. Which feels weird to me. Because, like, it doesn't understand Superman. Like if you think that maybe on, like, the most superficial, yeah, he's not from Earth, yeah, he's technically, like, alien-esque, and yeah, he's stronger than everyone around him, but it is not a Superman movie. It's not. I don't care who's saying that. They're wrong. Disrespect them. Spit on their shoes. Tell them tell them to read All-Star Superman. Yes, it is, James, that's correct, you're right. You're 100% right, James. It is a good case for the cultural impact of the character because, like, the film does understand Superman. Because I think you can have a movie that is, like, it's fundamentally about something. Interesting to bring that up, Naiad. You're going to tempt me into talking about the World of Cardboard speech, which I love. But we'll get to that. Yes, James is right. This is about the cultural impact of the character. Brilliant point, James. Full points in this class. I'm writing it on the board behind me. Yes, and it makes a great case for the cultural impact of the character, and in essence does understand the character. Because we're back to Superman, baby. We're back. Because anyone who says that needs to read All-Star Superman, which is one of my favorite Superman runs of all time. But another one of my favorite instances of Superman as a character does come, of course, from the DCAU. The DCAU's Superman is so fundamentally true to the character that I became attached to. He's perfect. He's a good boy. He's funny. He's a little quippy. How can you not fall in love with him? It's also the best Batman. Saying. He's not edgy, but he is. There's the two moments from the Justice League animated show that will live rent-free in my brain forever are the World of Cardboard speech, which I would like to speak on more, and my disappointments with it, which I will speak on soon. And when Wonder Woman is flirting with Batman, and he says, "I'm a rich kid with issues, lots of issues," and I'm just never gonna get over that he just admitted it. I'm never gonna get over that he just fucking just on screen admitted it. It's the funniest thing. You're a princess of a distant land. I'm a rich kid with issues, lots of issues. It's the funniest fucking thing. Just never gonna get over that. Never gonna get over that. How dare he just say it? Yes, I'm working my way through the animated series. I don't remember too much of it right now because I watched it a long time ago, but I'm loving working my way back through it. Like the Batman Ace episode is also really good. But World of Cardboard, ups and downs, ups. It's the best, one of the best Superman moments of all time. Downs, fucking Darkseid immediately wrecks him, like without a thought. Superman does the coolest fucking speech I've ever heard. With the World of Cardboard speech. One of the best fucking moments in the entire show. Where Superman just says, "I am holding back every second because I have to make sure, because you are all fucking tissue paper to me. And if I move too much, if I'm not in control, if for a second I forget who I am, people die." He says this, and he begins to trounce him. He begins to toss Darkseid around. Darkseid. I always say Darkseid. I don't know why. It's because I read it before I heard it. Darkseid around, like the little bitch that he is. And then Darkseid just presses a button on a fucking belt or something, and Superman's done. Fight over. Makes me mad every time. You can't just pull out one of the best written speeches, one of the most key moments for Superman, just for him to end. That's the one thing is throughout that show, Superman is the damsel in distress. He is. The fundamental conceit of the Justice League is Superman isn't there, or he's the damsel in distress who Batman and the rest of the league needs to save. He never gets to be the big hero boy. It's kind of disappointing, honestly. It's why I'm really enjoying the animated Superman series, because we really get to see our boy shine. The compassion, the love, and the delight that exists in that character is something special to me. But yes, everyone should watch all of the DCAU. Why aren't you watching it? Turn on Batman Beyond right now. It's somewhere on the internet. You can watch Batman Beyond. You'll enjoy it. Watch Static Shock. Watch the Justice League show. Watch Justice League. Don't watch Justice League Unlimited. That's not part of the DCAU. The movies aren't part of the DCAU. The only movie that's part of the DCAU is technically, I do believe, Mask of the Phantasm, which is one of the best Batman movies ever. Young Justice isn't technically part of the DCAU, but it is good. Let me double check this. Okay, so the only ones are Batman, Mr. Freeze, Sub-Zero, Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker, Batman, Mystery of the Batwoman. And I haven't actually seen Mystery of the Batwoman. Yes. Yes. And there's some short films. But The Killing Joke, luckily, isn't a part of it. So you don't have to worry about it, because it's not good. No, it's not good. It's not good at all. You're right, James. No. You're good. It all starts with Batman the Animated Series and ends with Justice League Unlimited, with a handful of films in between there. But I think they're bringing one. I think they're making a new one that exists in the DCAU soon. I heard rumors or myths that they're bringing this universe back after they kind of canceled it in, what, God, years ago now, like 2005. But it's so weird watching a DC animated film because it uses the same voice cast. Like, most of them use the same voice cast, which fucks me up because it's fundamentally not the same characters. Batman and Harley Quinn? Like a show? Well, Harley Quinn is in Batman the Animated Series, but I don't... Is that a movie? Oh, that is a movie. Wait. Yeah, it stars Kevin Conroy, and the designs are all the same. So you'd think it's part of it. But everything I've read has indicated that kind of ends stuff here. God, yeah, that is the biggest issue with Alan Moore stuff. Like, I talked about this a little at the start of the stream. I didn't like Watchmen Doomsday Clock, I think. It's how they rebooted the universe recently. I didn't fucking like it. The Watchmen should have ended where they did. Harry Partridge pretty much got the vibes like 11 years ago when he made the intro for the... Oh, Itzi's online. Okay, I'll pass you all over to her really soon. But either way, Harry Partridge got the vibes years ago when he made the Watchmen Saturday morning cartoon intro as a joke, and they just kind of made that a show. So, a comic. And it's bad. And they used it to reboot their universe. And it's annoying, and I don't like it. So don't read it. We're the Watchmen. Yeah. Friends forever. We're the Watchmen. It's bad. Don't read Doomsday Clock. It introduces some fun characters, but like... Dr. Manhattan feels hope because Superman's just that cool. Which I think Superman is that cool, but that's not who Dr. Manhattan is. And they did do Rorschach dirty, because Rorschach sucks. He's supposed to suck. That's the point of Rorschach. He's wrong. He's a crazy person. He's like the Question on crack, which is another one of the best characters that I love from comics, is the Question. But either way, I will pass you all on to Itzi. Thank you so much for joining me today. I had an absolute blast. I could have been doing this for hours. So yes, go to Itzi's channel now, everyone. Itsi Karakurt. Let me see if I can grab a link for you. Friends forever, we're the Watchmen. Where is she? Where is Itzi? Why is it not saying she's online for me? Oh, she's on Twitch, isn't she? Okay, let me grab that link. I'll send it in chat. Because I want you guys to go over there and say hello to my friend Itzi. Oh, yep, you'll hear her music. There's me. I'm glad I'm better too. If you're curious about what was going on with me, I explained near the start of the stream. If you want to watch back the VOD, that'd be a good way to find out what was happening with me. I talk a little bit about what was going on and why I'm sick as often as I am. And thank you so much for your patience and sticking with me throughout everything. It really does mean a lot to me. And this conversation was so fun, and I'm so glad to have you all here for this. Thank you. Okay. Talk again soon, everyone. It was so nice to see you. And no matter where you are in the world, I hope you have a great morning, a fantastic afternoon, a beautiful evening, and of course, as always, a good night.